Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Bucket.
What's up, guys?
So,
Welcome back after,
Hello.
what, 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
Has it been 3? I think it's
I
been
don't
2
know.
weeks.
Forever. It's been forever, and that's all anybody ever says.
We took a week off, and then we were forced to take a week off, and here we are now. 2 weeks of news, yes.
Well, probably a little more than that, but that is also why I did not come up with a discussion. I was like, we have a lot of stuff to talk about anyway, so, maybe we just do that. I guess one of the things that we could use for a discussion is something we've kind of touched on before in terms of microtransactions. It's in the news stuff from 3 weeks ago. But there was a dude that paid so much in microtransactions in Diablo Immortal that he couldn't actually play the game because he couldn't find anybody that had spent as much money as he had to matchmake with. So it's a pay-to-win game, but technically you paid to lose because you can't play.
I swear we talked about this before.
We talked about it amongst ourselves, but we didn't get to talk about it on the show.
Okay, I was like, I swear I've talked about this 6 times at this point.
We talked about it amongst ourselves.
Okay.
So
That's what happens when we all talk in between.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've talked about it 6 times, with multiple people, multiple groups of people, because it is just absolutely ludicrous. You pay to win, and now you're by yourself on a pay-to-win island.
He spent $100,000.
And I think that, I don't know how their in-game stuff is for him to be able to continue to play. Mm-hmm. But I know that, because they're using a format that's similar to mobile format when it comes to the money, because it's also a mobile game as well. But at least with, mobile part of it, they figured out a way to where they were like, okay, we're going to let all the whales fight each other. So we're going to create an event to allow the whales to be able to fight each other. But I also feel it was a slow burn to make that happen, where this guy, the game's been out 2 months.
Yeah. Well, and this article came out right at the beginning of the month. So it was out for a month and he had spent that money on it.
There you go. See, the thing is that all games like this use a matchmaking rating, MMR,
yes.
a hidden value behind the scenes. And if you're going to spend that much money above everybody else, you're going to, and I've seen a few videos of people who have just outclassed, and they'll literally into an arena, they will one-shot the other guy. They will be the same level, and you will just get one-shot by these people that have spent so much money. Boom, your ranking goes way up. And you keep one-shotting all of these people all the way through, and it gets so high that you literally cannot find anybody else that is anywhere near your level. It's oh, congratulations, you made a bunch of, you spent so much money getting your rank so high, now there's nobody else up there with you, and you're stuck alone.
What if the last person you played, right, spent $20,000? So he's one-shotting everybody. Got to the point that he got one-shotted. And he's like, I'm done.
Yeah, that's the point.
I'm finished. I'm not spending any more money on this shit. Fuck that,
I just I guess as somebody pointed out in the comment section, there's probably some degree of fraud that comes into telling players if you spend money then it will enhance your experience, but you spent so much money. But I think that companies that put these kinds of microtransactions in don't expect that people will spend that kind of money that quickly. They didn't expect that one dude was gonna drop $100,000 to boost up his character when everybody else is I'm maxing myself out at 20. Still, 20K is still are you stupid? If you've got that much extra money, I will paint you a set of armor and you can just have it IRL and you can give me $20,000.
But I think that's where the regular mobile games are set up to where they'll go, oh, here's a pack for $100, and somebody could go, you know what, I can justify paying $100 this month and boosting my character up a little bit. Or they might be, have a little bit more money and say, hey, I can justify spending, I really enjoy this game, I spend time with my friends playing this game, I can justify spending, a couple $100 or $300. But $100,000, there ain't no one that's gonna justify that shit.
This guy.
Think of the vehicles, the houses, the amount of food, all this stuff you could buy with $100,000. You could just go buy an entire restaurant
and hang out with your friends.
yeah, just hang out. Like, just here you go, guys. You know what I mean? Like, just it just blows my mind that somebody would spend that much money that quick.
They're doing
and the
it
guy's
for the
a streamer,
entertainment.
or at least a YouTube guy, right?
He's a YouTuber.
That did it. And I would be mad if I was one of his mods, because it's like, I spent all this time, I'm doing all this, and you are an idiot and spent $100,000 on this. Like,
you are an idiot.
like, you could have given us all a bonus for putting up with, let's say there's 50,000 people in the chat. You know what I mean? Like, you spent it on this game.
You spent it on Diablo. Okay.
You just wanted to show the community what you could get for $100,000.
And the answer is
Jack and shit.
yeah, exactly.
Loneliness. Hey, typical, right? You get so rich, you eventually end up lonely. Because nobody wants to hang out with you unless it's for your money.
Well, in his case, he's in a room somewhere behind a computer screen playing the games. He was lonely to start with, probably, so it didn't help.
True, and now he spent all this money in game to be the best, and he's lonely again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't play with anybody because I've spent too much money.
I just, as bad as that game, like, even in the first week, people were predicting how much you would have to pay to be able to get to the end game shit and all the stuff that went along with it. And for you to, in a month's time, spend that same amount of money is just like, really? Like you heard what was happening, right?
But I mean, how much of it too, on the flip side of that, how much is this dude doing this because he expects he can refund it, and this will cause a kerfuffle that people will talk about and maybe drive people to his channel?
Okay, this would be a good question to lead into this then. How much money would you have to make in that 1 month period to justify spending $100,000?
Dude, I don't know. Like, apparently his channel is
there
like
are some
150K subscribers, and it's a YouTube channel, so subscribing is not the same as like on Twitch where you're paying. So
no, but the other thing about it is, so like, let's say you have subs, the ads that run on YouTube actually get pay out a whole lot more than they do for Twitch. So if you have a certain amount of subs that are located on it, then every time somebody watches your video, you're getting ad revenue that's extra.
Assuming that half of the people that are subbed to you aren't watching you with ad blocker on, because then you don't get that revenue because those ads don't play.
It's true.
Yeah,
those ads play, but they get blocked. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if this is like some weird publicity stunt, which is part of why I haven't said what YouTuber it is. If you want to know, you can just go look it up. Because I'm not gonna drive people to their channel, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if this was like a.
We're not condoning the stupidity.
Yeah, I'm not condoning the stupidity. I also kind of wonder if it's one of those things where it's like, you should cap out how much people can spend in like a week or a month or something.
You can't do that. You're gonna ask a company to be like, "Hey, you can't give us that much money." The company will never ever say that.
Like, is there any legal recourse for you to be like, "I paid $100,000 to play your game, and now I can't play it. I'm gonna sue you."
Now, if they would have broken their servers or something, then that's entirely reasonable. But you spent money powering up your character. Now you're too powerful to play with other people. No, that's your own fault.
Yeah, I mean,
and to be fair, there's always something that you have to agree to as a player, and I guarantee you something's in there to keep that
exactly
from
like that is your fault. Now, if there would have been a technical issue on the other side, like, oh, your code is broken and I can't get any games, yeah, okay, now you can blame them. But no, every part of this problem is your fault. Like, Blizzard is like, I'll just take your money. You can keep doing whatever you want. I'm sorry you can't play with anybody.
This is the same argument, though, too. Like, in his case, he's doing it to try to make more money off of his channel. But let's say that somebody was legitimately throwing in tens of thousands of dollars into this game. This goes back to the loot box problem we had before. And then you did have countries that went after these companies for putting in, and they had to change how loot boxes were set up. So at some point, this has got to break too.
Well,
but
yes
the problem
and no,
is
because with loot
that game's so bad.
But with loot boxes, the problem was that it didn't tell you what... It told you what your odds were, but it didn't tell you what you were going to get out of the loot box as to whether or not it was going to be something good or not. In this case, you are paying for, like, power gear, so you know... You're paying for the item that you're getting, so you know what you're paying for. I don't think they can really, like, crack down on that the way they could with loot boxes, because it's not gambling. You are purchasing the item that you want to purchase. You're not purchasing a chance at an item.
I guess the gamble is you're not guaranteed a win, and you're not guaranteed a game.
Yeah, but I mean, when they're selling you the gear, they're not saying you're guaranteed to win. Like a loot box says you're guaranteed an item. So you are, but it could be a really shitty item that you spent $50 for, and that somebody else spent like, $1 for, you know?
So some of the mobile games now, like the Dragon Ball Z one and things like that they were doing, it was like, oh, well, you have a higher percentage chance at like, one of these 3 legendaries. It's still loot box, gambling style.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one is like, no, we will give you this item.
Might have lost Baka.
Yep, he was frozen on my screen.
Yeah, he froze, but he kept talking, so I thought it was gonna be okay. He's in Texas, and they've been having a lot of storms recently, so I'm kind of wondering if that's what's happening. Hey, there he is, his pixel. Say it's at the Baka. Do it.
Something?
Yay!
Yay!
Sorry. Now you can continue.
My internet is being stupid.
Since the internet so rudely interrupted you. Oh, there it goes. He left. Bye. At least I don't have us in Windows now, so when that happens, it's like, well...
Hey!
Now I'm just going to have to move the logo in the middle because it's going to be right on Oak's face. Wait. Hey!
Hey!
Yay! Welcome back. Is it storms or is it your internet?
It's just the internet for some reason right now. It's just being
dumb.
Like it's completely dropping out, but whatever.
Well, let's hope for the best. We'll cross our fingers that we don't lose Baka permanently. I'm not gonna move the logo on that one. Sorry, everybody on YouTube. Oak was wearing a logo hat for a minute. It's fine. He's fine.
Sorry, I looked cute in it, I'm sure.
Yeah, cute. That's the term I would go for. Yes.
It was something.
Blizzard said that they were working on a fix for the matchmaking issue, but I mean, I don't really know how you fix that. You can't throw him in matches legitimately with people that are not as powerful as he is, because then you're ruining the game for them just so that he can feel like his dick is bigger, I guess.
Reading through the microtransactions, like having it fully explained, it's not loot boxes, it is far from it, but like I'm gonna try to read this, and I mildly explained, but it is so complicated and convoluted. All right, so what you buy is Eternal Orbs and Platinum.
Okay.
One way you can use Eternal Orbs is to speed up your progression is to purchase Platinum. So you use Eternal Orbs to speed up your progression. If you want it to go even faster, you can buy Platinum.
Okay.
You can buy Eternal Orbs
so
too.
Orbs is probably something you also earn in game, and
yes,
Platinum is something
it'll say that. Use to purchase Platinum, which is a versatile currency you can use to forge powerful legendary gems at the Apprentice Jewel Crafter. Buy Echo Crystals that can be used to upgrade regular gems beyond rank 5. Obtain legendary crests from the Crest Merchant, 1 per day, and purchase gear and upgrade materials from other players on the marketplace. While Platinum can be earned by completing daily quests, you can instantly get large quantities of it by spending Eternal Orbs. So you could buy Platinum, you can buy Orbs to buy Platinum in-game. You could use the Orbs to purchase rare legendary crests directly from the Crest Merchant. Rare crests increase the chance of legendary gem drops after completing Elder Rift by 10%, while legendaries will guarantee at least 1 drop. So what they did is they put the RNG aspect into the game and used the microtransaction part to increase that chance. Like, what you are buying is to increase your RNG odds of the gameplay that is already in there. Like, that is all part of the game. You use the microtransactions and gems and whatnot to get crests, which increase your chance while playing the game.
That's weird.
Interesting. It's an interesting workaround because it's like, you're not buying RNG. It's no loot boxes, nothing. The game is RNG. It's just a loot-based game. Now, if you want to increase your loot drops or increase your chance of getting legendary items, you can buy this, and that will guarantee it. But so
That's weird.
Blizzard found the workaround to remove the loot boxes, made it part of the game.
For our Overwatch loot boxes, and legislation happen and everything, let us still do that, but in a way that makes us less in trouble for it.
To use a term that Baka will know pretty well, it's like buying Magic Find.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what I said. The Magic Find makes it so that you have a better chance of finding magical items, higher quality items and whatnot, which in old school Diablo games was just on gear, and sometimes you can make gear sets that just, you put it all on and you go and do stuff and it gives you a higher chance of doing this. They skipped that whole part and just made you buy it.
I remember having Magic Find sets.
Yeah, like
Go
they
in
skipped
with
that part and was like, let's
and
just let them buy it and that'll save them that trouble. It's
like ridiculously high percentage and just go in there and kill through things and let people loot all the magic items and stuff.
Yeah, now you just buy the Magic Find, which is definitely a scummy way to do your microtransactions.
But I guess less you getting in trouble, more money to be made still. Like,
I wonder what percentage for the month he spent of the money that was made off the game.
I don't
Like-
know.
Like 100,000. He's got to be one of the top spenders, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
probably. Like, yeah. I don't know. That's wild to me. Don't be dumb. Also, I mean, like, if you're gonna be dumb, think about it for a minute. Do you think anybody else has spent that kind of money? No, probably not. You think anybody else is gonna get matched with you because you spent that kind of money? No, probably not. Then that's still on you. I don't really think that you have much way to complain about that.
He probably didn't realize that that's how that was going to work. When he became like, oh look, I spent like $100,000 to become uber badass.
Well, and
He was probably thinking of like, oh well, I can just go through and roll through everyone now.
Well, apparently with the end game, it said that like you have to keep your title of the Immortals for your clan, and that's part of the end game part of it. And you have to sign up for the PvP stuff, which is some sort of rites passage, rights to something or another. And since he was the clan leader and his MMR was too high, he couldn't sign up the clan. So the rest of his team suffered for it as well. And it's like, well, it's probably because they're not spending the money and they funneled all of their money into you so that they could have one guy carry the team, and it backfired in a pretty spectacular way. Like, y'all can either get good or you can have one guy pretend to get good. And it's still
it's a mobile game. There's no such thing as getting good. It's literally about outspending the next guy. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's terrible gaming, for the record.
That's one of the worst things about, like, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are like, mobile gaming is not real gaming. Because so many mobile games have that setup where it's not about you being skilled at the game. It's, did you spend more than the guy next to you?
Hell, at least like, as much as we hate the damn game, at the end of the day, well, I enjoy playing it without the building, but Fortnite, the way that game is designed, at least the mobile version of it is, it's not pay to win. I mean, in fact, you're playing against PC and console players, but you're having to play on a phone.
Which is fine,
so
but Fortnite is, again, one of those games that started as a PC game, started as a zombie survival builder, turned into a BR, and then they put it on mobile, which is fine. Like, most of the time, when a game starts off on PC and then moves to mobile, it's gonna be a fine transition. But if it ever starts as a mobile game, it's more than likely gonna be a cash grab. More than likely, not 100% of the time, but more than likely, it's literally gonna be designed to make money.
So Star Trek was that way.
Most games on mobile are that way. Again, most, not all, most.
Most.
Yes, so I don't know. It's a wild scenario to be in. And Diablo Immortal was specifically built for mobile.
True.
So
I guess we're talking about Activision Blizzard and wild scenarios to be in and things you didn't really expect and all of that. Like, this leads into the news. I told you I didn't have a discussion plan, so that was kind of on the fly. But this perfect leads into some other articles because Call of Duty's had, since our last show, like a million years ago, 2 instances pop up where they're in trouble for plagiarizing skins for Call of Duty.
Two. Last week when I pulled up all of this news, I got this one, which was the dog skin, and they had to take it off because they literally stole it off of another game. literally just lifted it and put it in their game, and they're like, oh no, someone found us, oh no. So they got in huge trouble. And then earlier this week there was another one, and I was like, oh wow, holy shit.
Yeah, the first one, like, I guess I don't really know. It's from I don't know.
It's called a game. It's called
Flu
Fury.
Is it Fury?
Flu Fury. Sorry, Flu
Yeah.
Fury.
Okay, which
That's easy to say.
Let me say that is a cute name for a game that's gonna give a dog a gun. It's like, oh, it's so cute. Oh no, it's murdering. It's murdering. No. It is a cute skin though. But yeah, they straight up, stole that.
That is adorable as seeing a squirrel.
I saw that. Animals with Guns, I think, is the name of that game. Where you just get to be an animal with a gun, like a squirrel.
It's called, the game is called Squirrel with a Gun.
Is it called Squirrel? I thought there was multiple animals.
No, it's just Squirrel with a Gun.
Not bad.
And the director said very clearly that you will be able to play a squirrel with a gun.
Well, that's all I need to know. Sign me up. No, the other one was that they stole a skin or plagiarized a skin that was based on a former Infinity Ward employee who now works for the Dr. Disrespect game. So it's basically like you're stealing from somebody that used to work for you, which is like double bad, right?
Well, hold on though, because we don't have a full story on this. But here's where I would research. Had he already been working on that as an asset for Warzone, because Infinity Ward is part of the entire Call of Duty realm, already been working on that, in which case it does belong to Infinity Ward. It does not belong to him. And then he created something similar for the new product because he liked the design.
Oh, that's going to be a fun fight. Holy shit. Because if they try to go after Activision, Activision's going to be like, do you see these dates? Do you see these dates right here? Right here? Yeah. Show me your dates before this.
Yeah, because they released the thing for July or whatever is when this guy's came out for Dr. Disrespect's NFT game. That's just a horrible idea. But the but this other one, I mean, he could have, we don't know when he was let go. We don't know when, and then somebody else just finished the artwork.
That's true. That's true. Although I will say, Digital Skull with a hood over it is probably not the most unique concept in video games ever. So.
Yeah, super generic.
But it's because similar color schemes, right? But I mean, blue and black is also not, super out there, especially for techie stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
And looking at both of them, like close up, I'm gonna say, I thought I liked the one from Dr. Disrespect's better just because of the textures and stuff, but I feel like I like the one from Infinity Ward better, or whoever actually did it for Warzone.
Which one is which?
The one that's bright blue, I believe is going to be maybe. I'm guessing.
Are you sure? I don't know. I don't know which one's which in those two pictures.
They're really close.
If you want to see it, we're linking the article in the Chicken Discord like we always do. So if you want to see the picture that we're referring to and compare and figure out which one's which, we'll put it there so you can see it. It's actually the thumbnail for the article, so you don't have to look too far.
I mean, it's basically they said, okay, we're big He-Man fans. Let's do Skeletor, and then let's doctor it up to be able to, fit into whatever realm we've got here. What would a modern day Skeletor look like?
Kind of, yeah. I can see that. I can see that for sure.
I mean,
I just wonder how that's gonna work out. I guess how it's gonna work out is probably people will get paid off in the background. We won't really hear any updates about this, and these
Mattel comes after them both. He's like, you're like,
this is clearly Skeletor, a digital version of Skeletor. You can't do that. Oh man, were there any other Call of Duty stories? I thought there was like one more, but maybe there's not.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying
it was
to
just those
put
two.
the things together. Since we have 2 or 3 weeks worth of stuff, I'm trying to
Yeah, I moved my tabs around earlier before.
I didn't. I usually do, but I didn't do it this time. So.
Try to move them around.
That's fine. Where do we want to go from here then?
We'll leave the Embracer group because there's like 2 articles with them, and then a bunch of stuff. We'll just do the little bits. A few weeks ago, we talked about Skyrim's Together mod, which is a lot of fun. Which is a lot of fun, by the way. It is a lot of fun.
We'd still be playing it if we weren't having to level and WoW right now. So.
Absolutely. But on top of that, they have also done another huge mod for it, which they have added the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor to Skyrim.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody kills you, they take your gear, they get a name, and you respawn in a cave somewhere, and they get leveled up. Basically, they get all the stats from all of the gear that you're wearing, and they get stronger, and they get a name, and they taunt you, and they get a name based on how they killed you. So that's gonna be fun watching.
I find it interesting that a modder figured out how to kind of do this for a game, but no one else has figured out how to do a Nemesis system similar, to the actual before it was actually trademarked, because it took them 6 years to fucking trademark it.
No shit.
Like, come on. I think it's a cool concept though. Like, I love the idea of this, that somebody's created this, and I'm wondering if it's one of those where, they're going to get a call from Bethesda and be like, hey, here's our code for our new one that's coming.
Can you make a mod?
Could you make a mod for that one, dude?
Well, they wouldn't be able to now if it's copyrighted.
No, as long as it's not sold, and it's a separate mod, you just do it for replayability, because it's just like Left 4 Dead and games like that have lived through mod systems.
Mods are free, open source. You can do whatever you want. Anybody can do anything with any product as long as you are not making money off of it. Sometimes people will get a little upset about it, but as long as you're not profiting off of it, you can do whatever you want.
The kind of like, it's only tangentially related, but it's something that someone pointed out to me or brought to me this, I think it was last week, and I was just like, really? You can buy, because like you said, mods are free, and usually like there's like, for The Sims, there's the Sims resource stuff and all of the EA site where you can post your families and all of that. Somebody's actually selling starter families on Etsy for The Sims.
Really?
Like, you buy the package that you would download from any other Sim mod website. And it's like, why would I buy your $20 starter family when I could either 1, make my own, or 2, download from one of the many, many free mod sites? And also, is it not going to get you in trouble because you're selling sim content that you didn't actually make? You just made a family, which is not you're using
that will
your own
probably
assets?
get them in trouble. That one will probably get them in trouble.
So
because you're technically selling a product developed by somebody else.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I thought. Where it's like
it also seems sketch as hell. Like, I'm looking at, I've just pulled up one of the things that's on here, and it's 150 plus Sims 4 bundle, and it's got a bunch of stuff written on here. It's $5 and 0 stars. So I feel like
it's a scam.
Yeah,
big scamming, big scamming.
Sims 4 Decor. Let's see what that one pulls up. Now I can kind of see them making money off, like, if they've created from scratch a decor that fits into the system. That might be a loophole of some sort, because it's just an image file technically.
But if it's
you're still applying it to their game.
Yeah, you're selling content that goes into their game. I still think they could probably do something about that. I think it changes if it's like a Patreon thing where you're technically paying to support the person making it, not buying the mod outright. I think that's where it's gray enough that you could probably get away with it. But putting it on Etsy, I don't think you can. I don't think you can sell that.
That loophole is what I find super, super interesting about some of the YouTube channels, is because some YouTube channels will do 0 monetization and do all of their funding through Patreon and things like that. So YouTube gets nothing because they're not monetizing anything, but they direct everybody to their Patreon where they get full profits from it, which is an interesting loophole.
It's also risky to do it that way.
YouTube can't do anything.
Because just because 30 people click on your YouTube video doesn't mean that all 30 of them are going to go to Patreon and give you money.
Well, these big channels are like 100,000, 200,000,
that's why
400,000
they can get away
views.
with it. It's different. What are you
like
if
somebody made a bumper sticker that says Jesus died for our Sims, and and it's written in the Sims font.
Oh god.
Okay, I gotta give them props. It looks like people are reselling their versions, like Sims 2 plus all expansions PC version.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. You're reselling your.
Yeah, they're reselling what they have. Yeah. I do not see anything about starter families at all.
I mean, maybe it already got pulled.
Very
it
possible.
was for, I want to say Sims 3 or 4. I don't know which one.
They do have the little Sims little green thing that goes on top.
Yes.
The plum bob.
They make a hat with it on top, and then they also make a light. So now I want a light. Just saying.
That would actually be cute. I just really hate the company that makes it and how they milk that series for money. Because they
but they're not making anything off this. This is an individual. This is an individual that made it. Interesting.
They just released, like, you gotta be talking about Sims now, and I don't play Sims 4, but they released, like, a high school pack, and the problem with the high school pack is if you send your kids to a sleepover, then they come back, like, basically completely bottomed out in motives, and it's like, whose house are you sending them to that they come back starving, sleep-deprived, and needing the toilet so badly that they've already peed themselves? What kind of friends do your Sims childs have? They can also get locked into, like, a depression circle if they have a crush. So you can have them basically locked out of being able to do anything aside from mope around the house thanks to the emotional mods.
Hey, that sounds exactly like a teenager, though.
I mean, it does, but...
It does, but I don't want to play that.
Yeah. If I tell my teenage Sim to go clean the house, I need them to go clean the house because I told them to. They can be upset about it, but, you know.
You are playing a sim game. That is literally simulating a teenager. I mean, you get...
Go clean the house.
Yeah, but it's still a video game.
But I would argue that The Sims is also a reverse sim game where it's like, yeah, this is a life simulator, except for it's also a God simulator. You are letting me simulate God, so do what freaking I tell you to right now.
And that's what cheats are for.
Or else I put you in the pool and take out the ladder.
I did not tell you to barbecue the baby.
If your teenager is depressed, you cheat and make them not depressed. You can do that in Sims. You can't do that IRL.
That's true.
So, boom.
I didn't mean to derail us with Sims. I really didn't. I haven't even played The Sims in a long time.
Then moving on to the next story, whatever that may be.
I thought you had something picked out. Cool.
Nope. Then I will just pick up the Ghost of Tsushima movie. This article, I'm not entirely sure why it's even an article or why it even has to be said or why anybody is even mildly upset about it. But the Ghost of Tsushima movie will be a complete Japanese cast in Japanese.
I mean, that makes sense. But I guess...
I don't know. It's like I completely expected that to be
I think
the
the
idea
reason
of the movie.
I think the reason why it is because the majority of the people of the 10 million people that would have purchased the game would have been in an English speaking world of some sort. Because you've got, if you think about it, even though it is a Japanese company that has made the game, maybe that's the thought process on it. Like I would expect it to be in Japanese. I actually would prefer it to be a television show, but you get what you get. Because I will not watch this movie in theaters with the subtitles because my ADHD is not going to allow me to read any of this stuff in a theater, but I can do it at home where I can pause and rewind if I've got to, just because of the way my brain works. It has nothing to do with the movie itself. It has everything to do with my brain. But I think it's awesome that they're doing it that way, and it needs to be done that way.
Yeah,
you know?
like I don't think you could make a realistic period piece like this with a white cast. No offense, but
you're talking about like Last Samurai, Tom Cruise. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
It just would not fit. I mean,
wasn't there a samurai movie with Keanu Reeves also?
Yeah,
like
there was one with him too, but I can't remember what it was.
47 Ronin or something.
Yeah, the 47 Ronin.
Yeah.
But he's also half Asian, so right?
I mean,
like, so It kind of fits.
I don't have a problem with it being.
Or we could have put in like Johnny Depp or Robert Downey Jr. Into the role, and it's like, this is not going to work, guys. But we need that big name celebrity behind.
No. Just give me my damn movie.
Not for every movie.
And give me a Japanese cast. I'll read subtitles. It's no problem at all for me. I'm a fast reader too, so I can just like.
Well, I imagine that there would likely eventually be a dubbed version, just like there is with anime and things like that. So you'd have, the Japanese actors, and it actually be in Japanese, but then there's the dub that you could get so that you could listen to the American.
So it'd be like watching a Godzilla movie.
I wonder if they would get if they would cast people who were bilingual and then double take all the scenes so that they could release a dubbed version later.
Oh my god!
You get to re-release the movie twice and have two versions.
That would be so expensive.
There will be people that are not going to see this movie because it's fully Japanese.
Yeah,
I can guarantee that. And
yes.
I do think the movie would do better in the United States if it was in English. But I think.
But the thing is that
it's
everybody who played
to do that.
Well, I guess in the games you can make it English dub. So
I
was gonna say everybody who bought the game.
It's the same actor too, isn't it?
What?
The voice actor.
The voice actor's the same, right? In English and in Japanese in that game?
I don't know, maybe. That would be pretty fucking cool. I will find out real quick.
So if you
keep talking, you don't have to wait for me to finish.
I'm sorry, I was looking at
So if you did make an English version of it, theoretically you could use the same actor if that was the case.
You'd still be
you know what I mean?
double shooting scenes though, right?
No, you just dub over it.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't the problem with
dubbing over it
is the mouth not matching? Like, is it gonna be
that would bug some people, but
those people do not watch anime.
Yeah, no shit.
They also did not watch old Godzilla movies, so
yeah, but they should.
Definitely.
I mean, for what it says on the IMDb is that there are no English and Japanese voice actors. Everybody just voices it. So I guess everybody did both. Which, to be fair, recording voice lines is a lot easier than recording like a movie twice.
Well, they could do it a lot like some of these actors that don't speak English naturally. They teach them the line in English and just get them to
use the accent too to make it seem a little bit more believable too. Which is super nice, but more authentic. But yes, like I'm excited to see the movie. I'll definitely watch it. The storyline is simple enough to where they can just give me a 2.5 hour movie and you can burn through the story pretty quickly.
I just like the idea of building. Like I like I could see them making 4 seasons of a television show out of that.
Ooh. That you would have to drag that motherfucker out. Like you could put a lot of stuff in there, but you would have to drag it out. Hey, I played through the entire game. You would absolutely have to drag it out.
How many hours did you play through that game?
Oh, but part of the reason that his playthroughs are so long is because he literally did every single side objective.
Yeah, right. and Jin is not going to be running around petting puppies.
That game was 30 hours for most people that were just trying to speed through the game.
So you could beat that game a lot faster than 30 hours.
Well, I'm talking about first-time players type thing. But, I mean, I'm sure and don't look up a speed run of the damn game.
Well, no, but
Fine.
first time players.
You can speed run, hour and a half, no kidding.
Well, I mean, but with speed, it's not even speed running. You're saying 30 hours for a first time playthrough, but if you're making a movie, like Chicken said, you're not going to have those side quests pop up where people are like, maybe I'll do this, and like 5 Pet the Foxes in, they're like, okay, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Or, the exploration of it and things like that.
What you would do is create a reason for them to like be taking down one of the little bandit places and all that type of stuff.
The main story is 20 hours. Main stories and side quests is 30 hours. Main story side quests clearing the map 40 to 50, and 100% is 60 hours. Which is around.
I mean, 20 hours for the main plot line.
Yeah, which is not bad. And part of it's like it depends on how you want to play too, because that game offers you such control. You can either just run right in and fucking slam face, or you could be stealthy and try to take it slow.
The DLC that came out, see how long that one was.
Oh, that's only 4 to 8 hours.
4 to 8? Okay.
Yeah, it's super, super short.
So you're dealing with 24 hours, we'll say.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was 15 hours to complete everything on the Iki Island, which I couldn't complete everything because you had to do some of the legend stuff, and I didn't do that because I 100%ed the game entirely short of the legend challenges.
which would have put you at 60-ish.
Yeah, which would have put me at 60, depending on how well I was at the PvP. I know, right? It's crazy, PvP in that game.
Oh,
I don't know.
I still
guess
would have
we'll
preferred
see.
TV series.
Because they're definitely going to go ahead with a movie. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think a lot of long content like games would be better as, series. But
But
the good
but
thing-
if you watch it in 2.5 and you turn around and you go, if the first game's out of your, I really wish they would have put this in here and this in here and this in here and this in here. And I'm going to go, remember what I said? It should have been a TV show.
I can
Then come back to
actually
this
write.
conversation.
I could write the whole game in my head. Like I could write the whole movie in my head. It's pretty linear. You lose the first battle, you recover, get your shit. Your character goes through some crisis, has to learn how to become the ghost, slowly adapts. About a third through the movie, you do the first castle, you save your uncle, things like that. 2/3 through the movie, you finally get up to the north, and in the end is the giant fight with
don't spoil
the Khan.
anything. Okay, cool.
That game is old enough.
I don't
It's
even
2
know
years,
what
three.
It's
3
2
years,
years
old.
old.
Now. It was 2020. That's right. So it's 2 years old. 2.5 years old now because it came out in February.
Well, we'll see when the movie eventually gets made, assuming that it does. We'll go from there.
Sony's all aboard for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're looking at cash cow right now, so they're all for it. Especially from their movie industry part of it.
And jumping real quick to Sony, Microsoft is claiming that Sony has paid developers to block rights to their games to keep them off of Game Pass.
They have been holding on to that for a while.
What do you mean?
I guarantee you they've been holding on to that
I am
information.
not
just for
surprised that Sony is doing that. They are so scared of Game Pass. They're doing the same thing Epic Games is doing, which is why Sony and Epic Games are all like, yay, we love each other.
But didn't Death Stranding, which was a Sony exclusive, come to Game Pass like this month?
It's coming to Game Pass.
Oh, is it next month? Okay.
Yeah.
It's very soon.
Yep.
Is
But
it
yeah.
coming
Now
to console Game Pass or just PC Game Pass?
PC, I think. But I'm
Does
not.
that make
100% on
sense
that.
because it's on Steam?
Yes, PC, and it's
Yeah.
next week, August 23rd. Actually, it's in 2 days.
Which I guess is less painful since it's already on Steam and off of being Sony exclusive than if it was actually going to the Xbox console.
Well, but it also depend on. It would also depend on what the original agreement was with Sony, because it was. I'm assuming it was console exclusive for a while, and there was probably an Epic clause in there, which is why it went to Epic first, and then went over to Steam, and then now it's going over to Microsoft. Where basically what they're doing most likely is when they're doing these exclusive deals, they've got a writing in there that says you can't go to Microsoft Game Pass for any reason. And the reason this, which is in the article, if you'll look at it in the Discord, basically the idea is that Sony is mad because of the fact that Call of Duty is being bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And they said that it's going to hurt them if it goes to Game Pass. And they're in a Brazilian court right now arguing over it. But as Microsoft said, we built Game Pass without Call of Duty being on it. So it can't be that, you need to learn to do the same thing, but we're also not going to take it off of your console.
Yeah,
We're going to allow it to be,
You're just gonna have
because
to pay us
it would
for
hurt us financially
Yeah.
to take it off your console.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sony is going to eventually have to fall to the route that Nintendo is, where like they're already doing it. First party Sony games are probably some of the best single player games out there.
100%.
Like they knock it out of the park every single time they make a single player game. Period. Like you just can't compete. It's the same thing with Nintendo. They're like, hey, we're doing our thing, and we're so fucking good at it, nobody can compete. Sony is the same way, but they're like, we want everything. It's like, no, Xbox is to play anything, play everywhere. It's the
You gotta
public
make your own
playground.
niche,
It's the public playground where everybody can go and play, whatever. And you're the paid water park where it's super fun, it's niche, and everybody wants to go there, and that's fine too. And I don't know what Nintendo is. It's like the amusement park where you have to pay to get in, and it reminds you of your childhood.
Maybe. I think the thing is too that Sony's looking at it so weird, because I'm like, you've got really good exclusives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people buy your system. Most people that I know that buy your system buy it because you have those exclusives. And it's the same thing, you know, like you just said with the Nintendo thing. It's the reason people buy Nintendo. I'm not buying Nintendo to play whatever, you know, game I can play on my PC, my Xboxes, and all that stuff. But my Sony, I'm buying it for your exclusivity.
Yep.
That's why I'm buying your stuff. And it's like, you know, Call of Duty, I'm paying on PC if I'm going to play it.
Yeah, I mean, most people will just keep playing where they're playing.
You know, and it's, you know, if it's on Game Pass, that's great. You might have somebody transfer over and go, okay, Game Pass is definitely the best deal now. So I've got to go with it, you know, because it's got the one game I play 100 million times. So I'm going to pay $17 a month to make sure I play it every day, you know, or whatever the price is now. Yeah. Game Pass, I don't know, but Ultimate, I think 17. But it's just so weird to me that that's their argument, because it's like, I don't know how many times Microsoft has to tell you, I'm not taking this off your platform.
Yeah, I guess they're not worried about taking it off the platform. Is more like, well, it looks like we're buying a game from you to put on our platform, and we don't want to have to buy a game from you because you're the competitor.
Right, which is what their mentality is. Their mentality is so set in the 1990s that it's like, come on, man.
I think they feel like the console wars are still keeping them afloat, and it's like, no, it's really not. Your console is good, especially if you could produce enough of them so that everybody could buy one, but your thing is the single player stuff. Just pride yourself on it. Who cares what else you have on your console and whether or not it's on some other consoles or whatever. Just deal with it.
Well, and I think that's where you know, with Sony in general, it's like when 2001 happened, 2002 happened, it has already been stated, we covered it on the show, that the guy that was in charge of Microsoft at the time, or in charge of Xbox at the time, literally pushed all of his employees to create the gaming, the whole console war shit to happen. Right? And then Phil Spencer gets there and he's like, man, we're all gamers. Let's all play, man. Let's have a good time. Let's all play. And it's on there. And the guy, Sony's still so mad that this other guy existed, that he's like, no, console wars, we gotta have it, because they were like, we made so much money because of these console wars that we got to continue to build this up, because the Sony brethren, that's what they bought into that, and they're still there buying into it. It's like, stop it, just play your damn games and have fun.
Get some help.
Stop it.
Stop.
Man, all right. What else we got?
Let's see. So we've got a little bit of news. Of course we have Embracer Group, which we're gonna talk about in a minute. Which is, we call them the good guys. They're the ones that go in, they're buying these companies, and it's because they're trying to save things, doing all that type of stuff. Yeah. And then you have the evil empire, which is Tencent.
I don't disagree with that analogy.
Yeah,
you got the good empire and the bad empire. It's like, because they are really competing on buying as much as they absolutely can.
Yes, and the fact that Microsoft is like, I'm just gonna buy this stuff right here, and nobody's looking at Tencent, kills me, because Tencent buys 5-6% at a time.
Yeah.
They're not buying major
stuff.
But that's
why nobody notices. It's small. It's like that little leak versus that like gushing pipe over there. You know, everybody's not worried about the little leak until the little leak is, you know, causing way more damage.
Yeah, you didn't realize your basement flooded till you went down there and there's 3 inches of water, and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Well, Tencent is trying to buy up more of the stock for Ubisoft, and the 80% of all Ubisoft stock is actually publicly traded, and then you have 15% that are owned by the Guillemets. I think is how you pronounce that. I am not big.
Yeah, it's a French name.
I'm not a French guy, so I'm gonna go with that. And then so they are currently the largest individual shareholder is the Guillemot family. And then you have Tencent, who owns the other 5%. So you have 15% and 5%. Well, they're trying to now buy more stock, Tencent is, to get above the amount of stock that the Guillemots have. So I don't know how this is going to go, but if you remember back in 2016, you had that chance of a hostile takeover from the Vivendi company that likes to just tear shit apart once they buy it.
Yeah.
So, and they were able to thwart that one. I don't know how this is going to go. Because right now, Ubisoft's still in hot water because of how it was being managed and stupid shit going on.
Yes. How it's still being managed. It's not like they've kept some of the promises that they've made in the recent years.
That is true. So that one's going to be very interesting to see how it turns out. And whether or not Tencent can pull this off and what it means for Ubisoft if they do pull it off.
Looking at Vivendi's history, just to look at it, take a guess at when they were created.
The 80s?
1853.
Oh, okay, cool. That's definitely... I meant the 1880s. I was only a few decades off.
So it was a water. Were battling for
it
AIDS.
Started as a water company in 1853 and stayed around as that until 1997.
So
and then
they're a water company, and they're all of a sudden like, that video games is getting big. Let's get into that.
It turned into a water company to a construction company, and then it sold off those stakes and changed and merged with something else, and like it became Vivendi SA. Then it changed to Vivendi SRL, and then Vivendi Universal SA, and now it's just Vivendi SA.
That's weird.
It's literally a company that has figured out that they can buy shit up, tear it apart, and sell its parts for more than they paid for the original amount.
So I mean, I guess construction companies
and make
still
money
accurate.
that way.
It's,
that's what they figured out.
But
yeah.
It's older than Nintendo, and that's saying something because Nintendo was made in 1980 or 1889.
I'm about to say, bud, you need to go to the
1889.
But you know what? They've stayed with gaming the whole time.
That is true. They started as a card company some fucking 132 years ago. Jesus. 132 years ago is when Nintendo started. Yep. And they haven't changed. Nintendo, the card company.
Wow. So now after we've gone to the bad side, let's go to the good side. So Embracer Group, again, likes to buy things. And they bought a big thing.
This blew my fucking mind.
They bought a big thing. So Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, the IPs for those, for all types of media, has been purchased by Embracer Group.
Yeah. So movies, games, books, TV shows, you name it.
The rights to J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, all of it. Which, to be fair, being able, like, them getting it and putting it into their archive makes me feel a little safer because you know that they're putting it in their vault where they are creating the archive of our entertainment history across all the medias, which is nice because you know they're trying to save all of that stuff for the future. They're not just going to, like, milk it and then kill it. I am curious. I am so curious to see what they're going to do with some of these IPs.
Also, I don't know if anybody noticed in this article, but they also bought Tripwire that makes Killing Floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
if I'm not mistaken, Tencent had some stakes in Killing Floor. Which
of course they did.
Which I'm sure that they lost now.
But I'm interested to see where this goes because they're talking about how, they could broaden the exposure, and if you do it right, you can do it the Star Wars way. You know what I mean? Like where it's on everything, and you make it part of your property. You've already got Universal Studios building an entire part of a park dedicated to the Lord of the Rings,
which is all owned by Embracer Group now.
Yep.
Like that is all licensed to Embracer Group now.
Yeah.
Well, once the deal goes
it's
through.
licensed out to Universal.
Yeah, it's licensed out, and then they
get a share of the profit.
Which, I mean, I couldn't imagine. Which, to be fair, I mean, they took that money, that huge investment they got from the Saudi Arabia company, and reinvested it into Lord of the Rings media.
I forgot they did that. I forgot that we covered that.
Yeah, because they got like $200 billion from them, and it was like, oh yeah, that's a huge, or $2 billion. It's like, oh, that's a huge investment. What are they going to do with that? Well, we're going to buy Lord of the Rings. Oh,
yeah. If we're going to buy something, but it also could mean that they are looking at expanding. It could be to where we end up with an Embracer Group app at some particular point that has their product on it of some sort, because they just bought that company not too long ago too that had like a large library of TVs and movies.
Oh, that would be so nice. They create that. Well, I don't know if they want to do that. They seem like they're kind of more where they buy up all these companies and then let their companies kind of ship it out to wherever
they would
want.
still let the companies ship it out, but what they would do is they would create in one environment for everything to be onto. So it might be, remember when Steam was like, hey, we're really doing well with the video games and we want to bring the movies in too, and then they brought in movies for you to be able to rent, do a lot of stuff. Now imagine if that's a monthly service for, your video games, and that plus it's sold everywhere else as well.
I'll be honest, that would super succeed because of it's also like Nintendo's where they've got all the old games and whatnot. If Embracer Group did something like that where they had all of those classics that you could play,
because
especially that you can't get to anymore.
Well, that's what they're trying to build the first video game library like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to invest into it, so it would make sense.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of an
And now they have
investment.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh man,
You got Warner Brothers has Harry Potter. You got Star Wars that's owned by Disney, and now Embracer Group owns Lord of the Rings.
First of all, I would fucking love a Killing Floor style Lord of the Rings game.
What? That doesn't even make sense. What are you, an archer?
Yeah, why not? You're an archer or your swords and you're fighting orcs and whatnot.
I would
Could you imagine like
more like the Vermintide style?
Yes, that too. Either way, like that kind of style, of game with the Lord of the Rings IP, please, it would work. It would work really, really well.
Yeah, because you could do like with the vermin, like, because I mean, you're already basically those characters anyway. You just
exactly like
redo
the
right?
swap over would be pretty easy.
Wait, is there a mod for this? There might be a mod for this game.
I know that there's a you have Battle for Helm's Deep and Left 4 Dead, which they rebuilt the entire Helm's Deep map. And you can
I remember that one.
That's true. That was a hard map to run, though.
That was a very, very difficult map. Yeah.
Anything is possible, I guess.
Anything is possible. Yeah, that was a surprising deal.
Yes, definitely. So Koch Media, which they're gonna ditch their name, which is good because it's not a great name.
Yeah.
Koch Media.
Yeah, they're going with, it's called Play On, but it's spelt like Play On. Or Ion, depending on which way you wanted to do it. But I mean,
Ion.
Yeah, but it's Play On is the actual way that you're supposed to pronounce it. But it's Plaion. But it's Play On is what they're going with on it.
Yeah.
So after 28 years, they're changing the name. Got it.
I guess they're reimagining who they are.
Reimagining. Yes.
Reimagining.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, to wrap up, the last week was Embracer Group's, I say Embracer, with THQ Nordic's showcase, and they showed off a bunch of games, which I don't know if this is all of them.
I think it is.
There's some of them mentioned in between.
There is no Darksiders. Still, no Darksiders 4. There's still 25 games that they have not announced. There's also a new South Park game.
Yeah, but that was just like a tease.
Yeah, but they're working on it. They got it in the oven.
Yeah, they'll get it.
Oh, they will definitely get it.
Bach is excited already, I can tell.
Oh, I know. I'm pretty sure I heard him squeal when they did the last little logo. He wasn't even watching it either. He just felt it in the force. I feel it. There's a new South Park somewhere.
I just want him to give me the first person shooter South Park game from back in the day.
Next.
He's shooting turkeys.
It'll be next.
They're throwing snowballs at people.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Ugh,
Was it was on Nintendo 64
upgraded.
too, wasn't it? It was
no,
like
those were upgraded ones, the P ones.
Yeah, those are upgraded.
It's also the gun that made you dance.
Yes.
From the aliens.
The Alone in the Dark game actually looks pretty good. It is right up Griff's alley, and you get to choose between the two main protagonists.
I'm
Which
interested.
Yeah, it's a reimagining of the 92 original.
Which is probably good because I think there was just a new one not too long ago, wasn't there?
Yeah,
That
I
was
feel
horrible.
like there was that didn't do well.
It didn't do very well.
2008, it says.
Oh. I thought
Yeah,
there
they did
was
one in
something-
2008 that didn't do well, and then they did Alone in the Dark Illuminations in 2015.
That's the one I was thinking of.
And they also showed off Space for Sale, which is 100% up Griff's alley again. It's a mix of Surviving Mars and Astroneer, which is a
That's
really nice
cute.
combination.
Yeah, that's the one I was like, it's adorable.
Look at his big
It
shoes.
is. And the gameplay looks solid too for being like a little mini sim builder.
They're remaking Gothic from 2001.
Which they've been talking about, and they got to show off a bit on this one, and it looks good. Looks really good. I guarantee that thing is going to sell so hard.
I thought it was funny though that okay, so this is THQ Nordic, that's part of Embracer Group, and one of the shots that they showed literally looked like from Fellowship of the Rings, where you go down into the pit to see what's happening. I was like, did they show this first just to kind of tease us and let us know it was happening?
Yes.
The Outcast 2, for those that are fans of the original Outcast game, they showed a little bit more of it, and it looks all right. I've got to go back and try to play the original again. The last time I tried, because I actually own the remake version of it that the original guys did, and the controls sucked. But I'm like, okay, I'll try again. Let's see if I can get through it. The recreation game, like the racing game that has like the Hot Wheels style tracks, looks pretty fucking cool. I thought
when
that
is
was neat.
Gamescom actually? It's this week, next week?
It should be close. Should be
August
soon.
24th to 28th. That keep your eyes peeled.
So this coming
THQ
week,
Nordic is going to be there. They're going to be showing off some more of those 25 games. Please, for the love of God, give me Darksiders 4.
No, they're gonna make you wait, chicken.
They have 25 games, and if it is not announced, I guarantee that it is going to be one of the last 5 games that they announce. Because the hype being built behind that motherfucker, which means we won't get Darksiders 5, the 4 Horsemen, until, like, what is this year? 2024? 2022? We might get Darksiders 4 at the end of next year, which means it'll
Like, you
probably
don't
be
know
like
what year it is.
2028, 2029 before we get the next one.
I'm not going to
Whatever.
tell anybody here how old I'd be with
I was born in 90. You can do the math. I age on decades. So
Be funny. Anything else?
I mean, Embracer Group might do a new Deus Ex, and they want to do what Cyberpunk 2077 couldn't do, so I'm interested. You
now that is a bold
hit my
fucking
high
statement.
points here. I like the Cyberpunk genre. I enjoyed Cyberpunk 2077, and I freaking love Deus Ex, so let me see what you got.
God, would that be so fucking nice? Have Jensen in like an open world style game like that. Cyberpunk was nice, and it was the open world feel where you got to create your own character and live in your world. But having a world developed around a character and then living in that character to go through the world would be interesting because the story would be built for him specifically. So that'd be interesting. I'd like to see it. It would have to be a reboot though. Just end that old shit. Like I don't remember what that last one was called. It was bad, whatever it was. Shit.
Human Revolution or Mankind?
No, Mankind Divided.
Yeah.
Mankind
It's
Divided.
like I knew
where
Mankind was in it, but I couldn't think of what it was.
It's Mankind Divided, and the divided part is on the story where it was like, we're gonna divide this story in half. It's like,
Thirds.
okay,
It was in thirds.
yeah, that game was. I'm not gonna say awful. It was a good short story. That's about as far as I can say. You really, really shafted people on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
the-
finished that. I'd be super pumped on that.
I put
Hell
it
yeah.
I put it in the thing, so it's there.
Just give it to me. Just give it to me.
Give it to me.
Make it happen. Tell me it's happening, and then I can just look forward to it. You don't have to give it to me right this second.
Yay. Probably 2028, 2029 on that one too. Great.
Mm-hmm. probably.
You know what though? If they announce it now, like they get a hold of it and they're able to build that game within 4 years, they're able to do what CD Projekt Red was not able to do. Like if they can make it work.
I think Embracer Group's companies will have a better time because it feels like these smaller companies, when they have a vision, they kind of stick to it and they feel like they understand what they want, where these big AAA companies and whatnot, they just keep adding to it. They're like, we need to do this and this, and let's keep making it bigger and bigger. And the smaller companies are like, this is our vision, and we're going to make this so we can stick to this vision and make this game.
I think part of the problem you run into though is the parent companies that are running them, putting them on a deadline to make sure it's finished, where Embracer Group doesn't do that. And let's not hide the fact that Embracer Group is now a AAA company. Like overall, THQ Nordic,
I
and
won't
everything
give
else.
them the AAA status. I will keep them on the AA status because their games still don't come out like a fucking high quality. And to be fair, the AAA companies that I think of aren't even AAA anymore. Like they release broken, half-dead games.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think their games have gone completely downhill, but it's the company itself is still considered AAA.
I think Sony has AAA games that they release, and I think Nintendo has AAA games that they release, which are like high quality, very small bugs or broken issues. Microsoft does the early access thing on GamePass, and then they release good games, and Steam is nothing but early access into release. Like they're just like, whatever.
But I mean, if they release some of the stuff that they've got, like if they do a Deus Ex, they do a Tomb Raider game, some of the stuff that they picked up from Square Enix, and then I would still say that your Darksiders is still considered I would say still AA for sure.
Yeah.
But it did depend on how 4 is too, whether you get a hype or not on 5. To be able to consider it triple. But I mean, they're still pumping money into these like crazy, and they make good money on them. But I think they manage their money better than a lot of these companies do. You know, it's not there's this whole hype train because when was the last game you saw that came out from THQ Nordic that had a ton of ads?
None. I think Biomutant was the last one.
That's the last one I can remember too. But I don't remember any before it either.
But even then, like that game didn't come out at like AAA quality.
No, and it was in development for like 6 years.
Yeah, I mean they patched it, and it's a good game. Like people enjoy the shit out of it now. But it's one of those things where it's like, I think they like to make good games, and then they release it out and see how people take it, and then fix it from there. Like it's almost like they don't do internal testing or questionnaires. It's like, this seems like it works as a pretty good game. We'll just go ahead and, fix things people don't like afterwards, like they did with Darksiders 3. Some people enjoyed it. Other people were pretty critical of it. And they're like, okay, we hear you. We're going to change it.
But there wasn't a whole lot of hype with Darksiders 3 either. Like, I mean, there was for the fan base, but I mean, there wasn't like ads thrown out at, constantly.
Yes, that is true. Which, again, most of Embracer Group's games, they just do word of mouth. They're like, people who like this game are going to talk about it.
And I'm wondering if I'm assuming that the game industry is very similar to the movie industry in this respect. If we make a movie for $100 million and we spend an extra $50 million on ads for it, the budget is $150 million that we've spent. So now we spend the money on the game, use that extra money that's there and not spend it on the ads that go along with it. So therefore you let the game kind of do its own thing. And now you haven't spent the extra money to promote said game. Like Call of Duty, how many ads do you see every time a Call of Duty game comes out?
Way too many. And I think that the smart thing that they do is that they will give out codes to big streamers and whatnot and just have them do the ads for them. It's like, here, play our game. All it costs us is one game code. That's it. You play it, people watch you. That's 50,000 eyes on you. And then those people are going to talk about it because nothing spreads faster than word of mouth.
True.
And that's cheap marketing, and they could take that $50 million that they were going to do for marketing and just put it into the game. So, I mean, I agree. They're pretty good about how they manage their stuff.
Thrifty.
Yes,
Thrifty. Yes, that's
they
good.
are definitely thrifty.
Thrifty. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, we do appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Griff.
At Griff Slider.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
At Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Griff's YouTube channel. It's getting closer to the fall, folks. That means there's going to be a lot more stuff that's there. So you got to catch up, do all the things, and hit the sub button on that one, and the little bell. Make sure you hit the bell. Oh, and while you're at it, if you haven't done it yet, hit the sub on our button, down there, and then also the little bell as well. And that way you know when we've got a new one that's went out. Also go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken, you're pretty close.
Soon. It's not fall yet. It's not fall till September 21st.
Are we on vacations at that point?
No.
No.
Back on the 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right afterwards.
Can we still be on vacation at that point? That'd be,
God, I wish.
Why not? Might as well, Jeez. So yes, make sure that you hit the follow button on his as well. So when he goes live sometime after September 21st, evidently, you'll know when that is. Also go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I'm on several days a week. I can't even tell the days of the week now, because they all kind of line up weird. And then my youngest daughter's about to start up soccer, so I get to hang out with her and then go stream right afterwards. So that'll be great. But my day doesn't start at like 3:00 in the afternoon to start soccer anymore. It starts about 15 minutes before her practice starts. So that makes me happy. On so many levels. But for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
Baka.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.